let it happen.
Yeah, that's
So
inspiring, man. I'm excited to check that out.
thanks, man. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna keep you tapped in
Yeah,
on the stuff I'm working on. I'm gonna take off these shoes, do a little grounding. You know what I mean?
yeah, I like that
But
idea. I was thinking similar.
yeah, you got the
Take
easy access there.
take advantage of the beautiful weather, nice grass here. But yeah, I think there's so much value in looking at other creators' content and just seeing, and not looking at it as the consumer of content, but as a creator of content. You start to realize, oh, that's like the format they're using, or at least like for me, maybe with like an Instagram post, like kind of noticing like how that would be set up, like how they set that video up, like how many little video snippets were needed to create this, or what kind of text they're using, or I think a big thing nowadays is even like AI is something that I think a lot of people are using for content creation, and you can almost start to see where something is AI generated, especially like captions.
Mm-hmm.
There's like certain nuances where you'll like notice a hyphen in a certain location, or like every adjective or noun is like listed in threes. It's like this is inspiring, creative, and
Yeah.
something else. It's like it's not you got to like be careful to not let the AI just like take everything over.
Yeah.
You can still, I think there's value in like using AI to be like, hey, generate this caption for me, but still
Yeah.
take the 5 minutes to edit it to make it in your own language or something like that. So,
Yeah.
um, but anyways, like going back to what you were saying about the inspiration like that you get from Mike, like I think that's sweet, man. Like
Yeah.
there's great creators out there that we can look at them almost as like a template, and then
Ooh, I like that term.
yeah, it's like a template, but you're still going to create your own from that,
Absolutely.
and it's inspiring.
Yeah. And you got to think that even the other creators out there, all of the creators or people that we look up to, they used other people as templates as well. It's
Oh
so easy to
yeah,
look at what someone else is doing and be like, oh, they are the original, derivative of this thing. When in reality, likely they have taken the same path as us and sort of, um, you know, pulled from several different directions and several different people they aspire to, and then it's just all come together to make their own unique
mm-hmm,
creation. And I
for
would
sure.
definitely be interested to know more about, kind of who you've got on your Mount Rushmore of people that you look up to in your own creative endeavors. By the way, Sean Oatman is on the podcast today, the Kevin Lunsford podcast, episode 14. I don't know why it took 14 episodes to get my day one homie on here, but for those of you that have tapped into the What's Current podcast over time, this is the other half right here. This is you know this is What's Current right here.
Yep.
And so we started the What's Current podcast back in 2020. That's when we officially launched it. It was summer 2020. And we were definitely having conversations before that. Like I think we were like having podcast style conversations just naturally. I think we found we loved just like kicking it and just like podcasting. Usually it'd be more on like the late night wave. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Back in the old stomping grounds at our old spots. But then uh, I don't know. I feel like in 2020 it seemed like the podcast wave picked up a little bit due to obvious circumstances,
Mm-hmm.
and we sort of just ran with that, man. And still some really good content that honestly I probably need to tap back more into, run through some of
Yeah.
those and be like, man, what was inspiring us back then, when it was more like brand new. And it makes me think about um, sometimes you and I being creators in our own worlds, um, how like when you're at a spot where you're trying to innovate or maybe figure out what to do next, I feel like it's so easy to overlook the importance of just like going back to the fundamentals. I think
Mm-hmm.
like when time goes on and you level up in certain arenas, it's easy to think like, oh, I'm like above that. That was many levels ago. Like I'm more advanced now, and you want to keep kind of climbing the ladder and making it more complex. When it's like, man, sometimes just go back to the basics and be like, what started it all. So that being said, aside from being what's current podcast co-host, also my best friend as well. And
Yes,
so
sir.
yeah, man, I mean, this is a conversation for us to kick it, but also uh definitely want, my people out here to be able to get more of a live look into, one of my homies that I look up to and admire a lot, and see you doing some awesome stuff on your own creative wave. So man, we can start wherever with it, man. Like I guess maybe like let people know a little bit about like what you're all about, what you're into, what you're up
Yeah,
to,
for
man, and
sure.
how it all.
Appreciate that
Yeah,
intro, bro.
hey,
Yeah, and the feelings are mutual because, like you said, taking it back to 2020, I think that was such a pivotal year for a lot of us. The world changed with the pandemic. Um, I know my personal life changed, and our podcasting, our conversations, all that. I mean, that really helped me grow as a person. Kind of started this wave of self discovery, just kind of waking up. To take Sam Harris's term there, waking up to who am I? What am I passionate about? What's my purpose? What lights me up? Um, so I would say, for the last 5 years, I've been on that wave of figuring out what my purpose is, what my passion is, and then now starting to live that and really tap into um, the creative spirit that I believe is within all of us. So most of my 20s, I think I was kind of in a state of American post college. There's so much to unpack there, but a lot of the habits that I think we form in college, that kind of party culture, that I was a very social individual, but looking back on it, a lot of that was like social times that were involving alcohol or just much more like superficial, ephemeral pleasures, and I think from there I kind of experienced some like personal health struggles along there, and relationship struggles, and then yeah, I'm kind of on this wave now of like a holistic health and wellness wave. I think is like it's kind of the overarching way to encapsulate what I'm about. But it's more than just fitness and mental health. Like the relationship side of it, what we're doing here right now, talking, um, being authentic, paying attention to the nervous system, and not being so fearful of just being myself is kind of my true passions. Right now, that's the wave I'm on lately. It's been, to tie into what you said, like just getting back to the fundamentals of what it means to be a human being, bro.
for real,
Yeah.
absolutely. No, that's dope, man. There's definitely a lot, um, a lot there that yeah that I try to live by too, and that I don't always do my best with, especially on just kind of like the maybe the self care side of things. It's like I'm definitely familiar with the concept of self care, and have applied that to my, I guess, personal growth journey. Um, but man, it is easy to overlook some of that stuff when you're on a mission, to sort of excel at whatever you're doing. It's easy to just like kind of put the work over the self, or the
Mm-hmm.
the goals over the peace of mind and happiness and things like that. Um, so it's cool and refreshing to see, you know, I see you putting time into yourself, and focusing on your well-being, and even like you've kind of said lately, sort of like shifting your well-being almost above some of the other things that you maybe in the past ordinarily would have. Like you might have, you know, with like a deadline going at work or whatever have you, it might have been your past nature to just like crank on through it and like I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna sit here until this task's done. And you talked
Mm-hmm.
about like you told me about like the little breaks and like the exercise snacks throughout the day. You're like,
Yeah.
this is my priority now. Like my body, like the level in which you have become in tune with your body and just
Mm-hmm.
your mind. You're like, I'm gonna put that above and take care of that when necessary. Like listening to it. Like it's
Yeah.
time to shift position, shift posture, or just switch tasks altogether and shift gears into something that maybe helps like reset or recharge
Yeah.
whatever it is that your body or mind is kind of calling for in that moment. And man, that's seems like such a powerful way to really build some habits that will contribute to just not only feeling better in the moment but really longevity too.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
no, you're right. It's like
love to hear
it's
more about
about the now and the later, the
yeah.
the current and the longevity play. And
I'm
I
gonna grab
think,
my water. You can keep going though. I'm
yeah,
just gonna
absolutely. So, I think in our culture today, we're so driven by efficiency and productivity, and there's so many benefits that come from that. I mean,
yeah.
you see the way technology is just evolving, and that kind of comes from this push for constant betterment.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we also see chronic disease and illness and mental health issues at an all-time high. And I think that's kind of the downside of this constant push for us to constantly be better in everything. And I know I started to see that in myself, where I was starting to develop chronic pain, and it came back to just, I'm not listening to my body. I'm grinding through days, weeks at a time without even realizing that my body's trying to communicate to me and tell me like, hey, we need to like shift gears here. So you and I have had many conversations about different books or theories, but the one that always stuck out to me was, you'll have to remind me of the name of the book, but the one that kind of talks about green energy, yellow energy, the red energy.
Mm,
Not sure if you remember that one off the top of your head
yeah.
or whatnot.
That's that concept. Although it sort of appears in a lot of different books. It's got to be At Your Best by Carey Nieuwhof.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yep, At Your Best by Carey Nieuwhof, and that
Yep.
concept really kind of broke through to me, and I realized that I
It's
was,
big, dude.
this idea that when we wake up in the morning completely refreshed, our battery's at 100%. It's just natural that as the day goes on, the battery is lowering. It's not just our cell phone batteries that are lowering.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
your mental energy, your physical energy, your patience, your awareness. And I kind of realized I was saving all of my like self care. Maybe like a workout or a meditation. That was all like at the end of the day, when your green energy, you might only have a certain few hours of the day where your energy is like primed and you're mentally focused, and
Yep.
then most of our energy throughout the day is like the yellow energy, where it's like it's good
Yeah.
but it's not like in our prime state. And then
Yep.
we hit that point at the end of the day where we're like red energy. We need to be relaxing, recuperating, really
Yep.
recharging. And then there's sleep, obviously, which is totally different. But yeah, I think that's been a shift for me, is like realizing I have to give myself some of the green energy. I wasn't doing that. I
Yeah.
was giving other things that are also important the green energy, but I wasn't giving it to myself. And that was kind of a paradigm shift. Was it's not selfish to give yourself care. It's
Mm.
actually, that is, by being okay yourself is how you can show up for others and be patient. And it kind of gives yourself a peace of mind knowing that you're doing what you can for yourself, um, and then you can show up better for others. There's a yard sign in Grandview for like a graduation, and it was like their son going off to college, and it was like, I really liked it. It was like, look out for number one first, but don't step on number two. And
Ooh.
it's kind of like this idea that intertwines into what we're talking about here. It's like I'm a firm believer that we have to look out for ourselves first so that we can serve others. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we can't, it's the classic saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. That's cliche, but you know, it all ties back into there. And that's the wave I've been on. And I've definitely been guilty of probably going too far to one extreme of like realizing, hey, I'm putting too much into myself. It's time to go closer to the middle again. But I'm a big believer in that, you know,
Hundred,
take time for yourself, especially in the mornings, man. Like,
100%, dude.
yeah, there's so many ways you can go into that: nutrition, exercise, meditation, just spending time alone. It's like
Yeah.
all these things are, um, they make you better for your friends, for your family, for your coworkers,
Yeah.
for yourself. It's just
Yeah, man.
it's a little different though.
100%. No, I mean, dude, it's so important. You and I are on a very, very similar wave with that. And I think, man, and to piggyback on that is like one thing that I am seeing to be more and more important is the concept of momentum,
Hmm.
and just the fact that momentum, you can scale that down to momentum on a daily basis, momentum on a weekly basis, or even like momentum, whatever, in a conversation or in a short moment. But um, I just noticed the momentum of my day can be night or day different based on like how I've spent my morning. I think like you and we both um, definitely treat mornings, as a pretty like sacred time, because it's like how you set up the day is often like how it's going to go for you. And by prioritizing the things that are like most important ultimately, and just kind of getting that quick win early in the day, doing something either for yourself or doing something related to your creative passion or something like that, it makes the rest of the day so much easier and even like spontaneous. And it's just like I find that personally that it's just um I'm less on edge about everything if I've put if I've gotten the important stuff out of the way. Like, it's already been a win for me today. It's whatever, it's 11 something right now, and like the whole day's already been a win. Anything, no matter what happens the rest of the day, it's like today's been a win because I've gotten in, some of the most important things. I feel like, some exercise, some time with the wife, some sunshine, and then perhaps most notably some creative work with the music, and that's something that I've been tapping more into. And to your point, realizing that it's like I've got to be giving my green zone to the
Hmm.
music. Like
Yeah.
I have to, and that can be difficult. Like let's say during the week, when you've got the job ahead of you every day. But man, to get that under your belt, it's just night and day different, because if I wake up and I immediately start trying to put out fires or responding to a bunch of texts or just going straight to work and straight to the email inbox, like it's like I kind of cringe thinking about approaching a day like that. It's almost like I should just do that as like a little experiment just to see, like, how the day goes. But man, it's just like if I start a day like that, then there's something pulling at my attention the whole day, and that is that, like, well, dang, I need to finish up work so I can get home and like squeeze in a little bit of time into like something that I like or enjoy, or a creative project. And then it's like it's an uphill battle from there.
Hmm.
Whereas like if you just get that in off the bat and really really focus, really narrow in on one aspect of what you're doing, kind of each day, it's like I feel like you can kind of coast through the rest of the day, and you can be present and available for whatever else shows up.
Right.
I know that if like I'm not giving myself the time for what I need to do, then like that's that's pulling at my attention, and the other stuff. I find that work even goes better, and I'm even more present focusing on work if I've done my own creative work like a little bit before I go into the office, which is
Right. Right.
part of the, you know I guess the routine now and whatnot. But yeah, man. I mean, I started noticing your personal growth trajectory years ago at this point. I mean, I feel like um, probably been at, would you say, safe to say, a solid 5 years now, at least, since you've been on a wave of real, I feel
Yeah,
like,
of
transformation.
concentrated like awareness of it. Yeah, you know, it's like some people probably be like, "Oh, you're growing from the time you're born," and that's definitely true. But I think like the awareness of
Yeah,
responsibility, accountability, just kind of realizing I am driving this vehicle that is my life. You know,
yeah,
I think that took me a solid 28 years to realize that, and beyond just the standard. All right, we're gonna go to school, we're gonna go to college, we're gonna make friends. It was more like realizing each little decision thought that I make is kind of shaping me into who I am. You know,
yeah,
this
man.
to go into your idea of momentum. It's like basic interest. You know, just like things are going to accumulate exponentially, and we have our minds and actions are the key inputs there. You know,
Yeah,
and that's just like that's a huge thing that I try to think about. But but yeah, I mean, it's something that I think is fun. I
yeah,
enjoy it. You know, it's not
yeah,
like I think some people think like, oh, it's like a grind and um, it's a lot of work, but it's a dopamine hit when you're riding that good wave of momentum. You know,
100%.
and you kind of just we're all riding dopamine hits of one or another, whether
Yep.
it be from alcohol or food or watching a show. It's like I just have tried to switch my kind of my dopamine diet, if you will, like
Mm,
where I'm getting my dopamine, and it's kind of from the work. And I think that by doing hard things or delaying a little bit of gratification, it's fun to not only reap the rewards of that, but it's also I think doing hard things kind of like keeps negative mental states, at least for me, kind of
mm-hmm.
more at bay.
Mm,
You know, I think when I in the past when I've indulged in too much comfort, that's when I would notice that my mind state would be more susceptible to like higher anxiety or depression or things like that when I would just be like avoiding the hard work. And now it's like I try to seek out the hard work
yeah,
when the time is right. You know, I can overdo it for sure. And
yeah,
that's another thing that I'm learning is like
yeah.
the flow of life. You know, I
Mm,
like to use the analogy of like a week. I used to be grinding Monday through Friday. I would just be like push hard, you know, work hard, work out, really like try to read and focus. And there just wasn't much of a life there. You know, it was just
yeah,
like really pushing. And then Saturday, Sunday would come, it's the weekend, and then it's just like this big long exhale and this like just like do nothing, come to a complete stop, and just kind of realizing I'm not really like in harmony with like the homeostasis that is
yeah,
life. You know,
yeah,
you think
yeah,
about
yeah,
your body, it's like constantly trying to create the temperature of 98.6 degrees. It's keeping
yeah,
things in balance. It's like I was like more of like I was running at 100 degrees for 5 days, and then I would go down to 90 degrees for 2 days. You know,
yeah,
just
yeah,
from an analogy point of view, it's like now what I'm trying to do is love the mornings. Like you said, I really love trying to take advantage of a good morning flow, whatever that might be. You know, waking up, um, taking care of some things around the house, taking care of the body a little bit, taking care of the mind, and maybe a little meditation, and then being able to dive into like the tasks at hand, and then taking frequent breaks within there,
yeah,
realizing that I'm not a robot.
yeah, man.
I think we almost pride people on being like a robot. You
For
know,
real.
it's like how much can we put on a person? How much can they withstand? Um, and I think we've all seen that. It's great. We really value people like that, and there's times when you have to push like that, but it can't become chronic.
Yeah,
because I think when that becomes chronic, that's when I've experienced other things becoming chronic, like pain, dysfunction in relationships, just general burnout. So so yeah, man, it's like it's about embracing rest. I think that's been something that, we talked about the lion analogy,
Yeah.
and the lion analogy is like you look at a lion, it's like this apex predator at the top of the food chain. It's this symbol of strength, and what does a lion do for most of the time? It's kind of like chilling in the sun, basking, and just taking it easy. And then when it has to push hard and do its lion thing, it's strong, it's powerful, and I'm trying to embrace more of that, um, for the longevity purposes of things.
Absolutely, man. Just a couple of lions out here on the
Just a
savannah
couple of
right
lions,
now.
bro.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
we're in the
Just
savannah of Columbus, Ohio.
yeah, scanning the environment for
Yep, yep,
any potential prey,
yeah,
and
bro.
we'll pounce when necessary. But for now, we're just cooling, man. Sunday's a day of rest. It's a beautiful day to just kick it and do stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, man. How would you say your let's say your passions have evolved? I feel like, at least for me, there's always phases. Like I was in this phase, and then this phase, and then this phase. Um, However you want to describe with what most interests you right now, and the let's say the messages that you would like to be able to communicate to an audience. You do a lot of cool stuff on social media, like some uh, like exercise work, for example, that I would say is sometimes outside the norm. Some
Mm-hmm.
really cool, like almost like a different style of let's just say exercise, fitness, or whatever you'd want to call it. But yeah, man, I'd love to just hear kind of how things have evolved, and how you've landed on where you're at right now with the creative pursuits, and just
Yeah,
just the general
yeah.
day
I
to
think
day.
I think everything in life kind of comes from like it comes from a place of there's a problem. I try to solve it, and maybe that's not the best way to put it, but at least for me, sometimes it's like I'm experiencing something, and I want to modify the outcome. And for
Yeah,
me, with when it comes to like what you're talking about with like physical health, for me, I was always somebody who, like, growing up, I loved being outside. Like our neighborhood growing up, we had a great group of kids. We're always playing games. We're always moving. And I didn't even know I was like in tune with like the basics of like nature, sunshine, movement, social interaction. Like I was just getting those, and it
yeah,
was
yeah,
like I'm so fortunate for that. But over time, I think what happened as you kind of go through high school, you go to college, and then you start working in the corporate world, you just slowly all that kind of tapers off. You're stuck inside most of the day. You aren't moving as much. You're like sedentary.
yeah,
Your social interactions, we've all witnessed it in our lifetime. If you're born in the 90s, or anybody that's alive really today, we've
yeah,
seen the socialization of things has just changed. So I
absolutely.
think, like, when I look back on it and try to answer your question of like how did I get to where I am now, to like to value the certain things, it's like it's really just chasing those fundamental things that we need as humans. So I was like in the gym trying to lift like a bodybuilder, like bench pressing and
How big can I
squatting.
get?
Yeah, how big can I get? And I'm doing this like after sitting in a chair for 8 hours in a
Yeah,
day, not seeing any sunlight, not like breathing properly. And I just noticed my body hurts. Like
yeah.
I'm misaligned. I'm A concept that I really started to identify with was like, don't add strength to dysfunction.
Ooh,
If your body is not moving properly, it's probably not a good idea to go add a bunch of strength to some movement patterns that aren't like ideal. Like
yeah,
that's when joints start to wear and tear, and I was starting to see that. I still have I'm like obsessed with that idea of like trying to just move naturally, like
Mm,
try to learn how to walk in a way that is efficient and good for joints, and
mm,
so I can be here when I'm 90 and I can be mobile and things like that. So
fire.
that's kind of the wave I've been on, and you know, I had some back pain. I know I've expressed that a lot and kind of told my story on that in that realm a lot, but really it started from there and just kind of identifying that the conventional route of like going to a doctor, getting scanning, doing these like treatments that treat symptoms, I just started to realize that this is not something that I want to be getting involved with. I want to go fix the root issue. I'm
Mm-hmm.
that kind of guy. Like I want to go to the source, and I want to build a strong foundation.
Yeah, man.
And that's what it's all about. That's why I do some unorthodox movements that I've been taught from my mentors. And I think when I start to like feel certain things firing, connecting the body with the mind, and starting to see the symptoms go away and start to build a strong foundation, that's what I'm about. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, is really letting that ego part of me of chasing the vanity of trying to be this symbol of like a strong masculine man, letting that go to the side. I think that will always be there. I think
Sure. Yeah.
for a lot of men, that for most men that's always going to be there, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but like just put that on the back burner and build the foundation up strong
Yep.
is kind of what I've been really working on, like
Yeah.
getting the core strong, getting the glute strong, working on my legs, and then we'll
Yeah.
throw in some upper body stuff in there, but a lot of mobility work too to like keep things healthy. And I'm just really passionate about that, man. You asked me earlier like who's on your Mount Rushmore
Yeah.
of like content creators right
Yeah.
now, and you know, I kind of break that into like three categories. I would say,
All right.
like one, we'll say like the physical side of things.
Sure.
Aaron Alexander, I think he's got to be on my Mount Rushmore. I think his awareness of building a strong foundation within your body and connecting it with breath is just like fundamentally crucial, and he's on there. I also lately have been getting into. There's another guy. I don't know his actual name, but he's the host of Radical Health Radio. He's
Hmm.
associated with like Paul Saladino, and
All right.
very very insightful when it comes to movement and mind and body stuff. And then the last guy is Bam Lionheart. What a name, by the way, Bam Lionheart.
Sounds
He,
like Lionheart.
yeah,
Like
Bam
a
Lionheart.
Lionheart. That's it.
Lionheart. Literally, his name is BAM first name, and last name is Lionheart. Like, I mean, he was just born to be a movement coach, but that's what he
Word.
is a movement coach.
Naturally.
And he is all about what is called primal movement, which is
Yeah.
basically like getting back to, you got to crawl before you can walk, you got to walk before you can run kind of
Yeah.
mentality, like getting that right, really kind of connecting in and to nature and the fundamentals. So and also my guy Darcy Koss, you know, he's my coach, he's
Shout
my
out Darcy.
mentor. Shout out to Darcy. Like he's my OG like movement mentor, and we still work together, and he's a great friend of mine. So those would be my like movement kind of body, like I'm really into that kind of content.
Yep.
And then on the other realm, I really like the mindset content, and for that lately, I give all the credit to you, Luns, for introducing me to the Waking Up app,
Mm.
Sam Harris's app,
Yeah,
which
man.
is primarily like a meditation type app, like a lot of vipassana style meditation, like mindfulness, like just noticing your breath, and kind of tapping into the idea of like consciousness and what is this, and where do your thoughts come from, what is a thought. That's been like super helpful for me to just kind of, I'm a type A person, to let go of some of the anxieties and
Ditto.
overthinking,
Ditto.
and just making time for stillness, and kind of learning just that we're just a perspective opener. You know, we are a speck of dust in a universe of unfathomable matter. Like it's just like it's not to become nihilistic and say we don't matter, but it is to put things in perspective that,
For sure.
everything's gonna be okay. You know.
Right, right.
So yeah, anything on that, I love his stuff. I love all the people he interviews, Joseph Goldstein, um, various other people in that realm. I could just listen to that all day. But then
Yeah,
the third one is I love like nutrition.
yeah.
Nutrition content is something I think is just I think nutrition is such a huge and easy lever for us to pull for really bringing together all of our health, our mental health,
Mm,
our physical health, just like eating whole foods, fruits, meats, just good quality foods. Like I'm just all about that. So I love like following people who create content of like creating whole food meals
mm.
and things like that. So Half Baked Harvest is she's kind of like a popular one, but I love her content. I love like the way she puts together her um,
Nice.
content. Some of it's not always like super healthy, but like I really I want to get into more of that realm of like creating content that's not just based off of like me doing exercises. Like I want to kind of get more into the mindset.
Hmm.
I want to like do more of me kind of on camera, like talking, kind of like facing that fear
Yeah,
more, creating recipes or foods that I know that I enjoy, that are healthy, that other people could enjoy. Kind of like spreading this word of holistic health, and that's my mission, man.
beautiful, man. Telling you, you'd be on my Mount Rushmore in that category, especially like the nutrition. We could meal plan the whole week based on some of the meals that you post on your story and whatnot. I'm like, man,
Thanks,
that looks
bro.
good, man. How have I not thought of that? Like,
Yeah,
just some good stuff, man. Like, you know what I mean? And
yeah, I appreciate you saying that. I think
yeah,
there's like a misconception there that healthy food is like doesn't taste good. And I get that a lot. Like some people I know are like, "Oh, what's in your lunchbox? Is that like health food?" And like that term health food just like makes me laugh. I've
yeah,
told you that before. Like food food is health. Like I think it's a lot of us are so logically minded. Like let's use some of that logic to think about what eating food is, what we're doing. I mean,
mm,
you're literally putting something in your body that's going like what do we think is going to happen there? Like
yeah,
the old adage, you are what you eat. I mean, it's pretty darn true, and
yeah,
it's not to say we can't enjoy um the indulgences in life. There's definitely room and balance for that, but like the 80-20 rule is something I'm really passionate about. Like 80% of the time, try to eat like good whole foods. This will pay dividends and everything: your sleep, your mindset, your physical output, your mood,
yeah, man.
just your your capacity to be the best human you can be. I just think it's right there. It's something we do every day. It's
For
just
real.
like, yeah, if I were to give any advice on like anybody struggling right now, it would be like let's lock in on that diet and the sleep, and then don't even worry about like working out and like creating this crazy habit stack of, okay, I got to meditate and I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to make sure I'm not eating out of plastic, I got to make
Yeah,
sure I'm drinking reverse osmosis water. No, don't even like get to that point yet. Just like eat fruit and meat and honey and drink water and get 8 hours of sleep, and like 90% of things are gonna like feel way better.
yeah, 100%. That reverse osmosis water though. Shout out Kyle Lunds. We got to get over
Hey,
there and
yeah.
try
No,
his
I
new
do want to get one of
reverse
those.
osmosis water
Yeah,
machine. We might have to host the next podcast over there.
for sure.
Get him on board.
No, water is
But
super important.
oh yeah,
Don't want to undermine that, but like I think there is like this like trend lately with like we got to get all these minute details organized when it's that we're not actually like really doing the work. It's like if you're gonna like it's like New Year's
man.
resolutions of like, all right, I'm gonna start a workout plan. I need to go buy new shoes. I need to buy new workout clothes. It's like you're tricking yourself into thinking you're actually doing something, but you're not. And I think sometimes that's what all these like little minutia of looking at the ingredients on the back and being like, oh, there's there's less than 2% of dextrose and
Oh, there's a seed oil.
sunflower oil. It's like, I get it,
Yeah.
but like, it's
Eighty
better
twenty.
than eating like
Yeah.
Chips Ahoy cookie or something like that.
Just trying to make the better decision most of the time. And man, if
For
I had
sure.
a pitfall to sort of, summarize much of my journey, it would absolutely be the trying to do it all and trying to subscribe to the whole ultimate regimen. Isn't it so funny how like we see someone out there successful in the arena of like what we want to do, and then all of a sudden we want to adopt their whole game, like their whole entire uh, routine, and just overlooking the fact that, man, just these like minor, just one step at a time, just these
Mm-hmm.
little minor changes. I mean, you and I think if we were to uh, you know think of our Mount Rushmore of like books, I know Atomic Habits would be somewhere near the top of both of ours. But I mean, that in that book is foundational as well. But just to like, man, just make a decision that's 1% better than the last one that you did, and just watch how they affect each other. I think like, and to kind of to your point, like how you've mentioned how it all ties together. It's like, well, man, if you make the right choice here on one of your meals, you just might have 10% more energy for your workout. And then if you have 10% more energy for your workout, you might have the clear mindedness later on to shoot a text message to an old friend that like you
Mm-hmm.
on the social side of things in that arena that and then that conversation might lead to like, oh yeah, like we need to get together, like let's do this. And then it's just the way that it can all kind of tie together into this sense of like just well-being. I mean, yeah, it is everything you said, man, is just such valuable stuff. And to think about how much better the daily experience can be if you're just being a little bit more mindful about all that stuff. I mean, I could
Yeah,
try to get all complicated and assess all that, but it's pretty
it's
straightforward, man.
simple, right? Yeah, we've talked about this before. It's like simple is something that I really try to focus on. Like, just keep it simple,
Yeah,
but simplicity often gets implied that
yeah.
it's
Pulled
easy.
that out just like a little bit
Oh,
more,
my bad.
maybe. No, you're
Yeah,
good. I think it's.
the
I'm still getting used to these, but I think about right here is like the sweet spot. So
nice,
you've been
nice.
doing good though. Anyway, the simplicity.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
simplicity is something that I think people would say a synonym for simple is easy, but
Mm,
those are really totally two different words because it's actually really challenging to live a simple life in the 21st century where we're inundated with all this technology and um, so many options. It's like it's challenging to be simple, but really
it's crazy.
choosing more simple, like a more simple lifestyle for me has been something that has alleviated a lot of these stresses that burden us in today's day and age. And it's it as we talk about the 1% better. I love that philosophy. That I'm all about it. But there comes a time, I think, when I have to remember to take a step back and be like, okay, today I might actually be like 3% worse, but I'm gonna be 1% better for the next week. And it's like it's okay to not be on your A game like every day, you know. And I think I'm that way sometimes with like if I cook something and I'm like ask Nicole like how's the meal, like what do you
Yeah,
think, and she's like it's good,
yeah,
and I'm like in my mind I'm like it's just good. It's not like I'm expecting it to be great. Like she's not allowed to say it's just good, and I like have to reflect and be like, yeah, not everything is gonna be great. That's what creates variety and the spice of life is like some things you're
absolutely,
you're you're gonna not like some things, or you're gonna have
absolutely.
days where you're not making 100% progress, but really that is progress. That's like the slingshot
Yeah.
methodology. It's like sometimes you got to come backwards to shoot forwards,
Mm,
kind of that kind of vibe. And I struggle with that 100%. I'm
absolutely.
I'm a
Me too.
perfectionist. a recovering perfectionist. I
Ooh, I
don't want to
like that.
call, yeah, I'm
Use that for
recovering.
my IG bio.
Yeah, recovering perfectionist. I think that, the power of what you tell yourself too is important. A lot of times we just say like I am this, and
Mm,
without the ability to change. And I think that's complete nonsense. It's like
yeah.
there's the power of your thoughts and the power of your actions, and even kind of going back to like kind of my pillars that I've identified. You know, physical health, mental health, relationships, and authenticity. Like just
Mm,
by identifying those four things, all of a sudden now I'm seeing them everywhere. Like my life is really focused around those things, where those kind of 5-10 years ago I wouldn't have told you any of those things were what I am. And now that I've identified, okay, this is kind of like these are my values, now they're all over the place. We go on a walk, we run into a new neighbor, and we kind of like exchange numbers, and we're going to make plans. Or in the morning I'm taking care of the physical mental health. At night I'm focusing on connecting with my wife. On the weekend I'm connecting with you. And it's just like identifying that identifying what's important to you. You'll start to see that. Like, it sounds woo, but the universe will give you what you need.
it's true, man.
You just got to tell it what you need.
It's true. Honestly. Oh
Yeah,
man, so well put. Ditto on the recovering perfectionism. And yeah, isn't it crazy that like a lot of our stress or dissatisfaction is like self-generated, self-created? It's wild.
yeah,
It's wild just to think about like how, like, look, life in itself is going to serve you up enough problems just by circumstances out of your control. So why contribute to that with your own, creating your own struggles? I mean, I get like striving and things like that, but you know, ultimately, man, like we're just doing something that makes us happy right now. Like this is
absolutely,
just, we both have long to-do lists right now. I'm sure that's
absolutely,
never ending. I mean, and we used to, I mean, I would say that you and I have probably both grown in this area where it used to be about like how much can we get done, and it's
oh,
just
for
like
sure,
more of a quantity over quality game. But like and I know you have come to understand the importance of quality over quantity. Like you're a quality guy, straight up, like
definitely,
both in general quality dude, and then that's just like where your focus is, which is awesome. And just also like not having to have it all figured out, not needing to have the perfect roadmap, like this podcast, for example. I mean, there's perhaps, I don't know, maybe listeners or viewers that would be like, like, nice podcast. Like, what are the plans for the podcast? What are you trying to do with the podcast? It's like, that might have been how I used to uh, approach the podcast. Maybe when we first started podcasting way back, we had these visions and goals of like, let's blow up and be a huge podcast and just podcast every day, for a living, which, could be a cool version of a lifestyle. But ultimately it's just like, we're doing this for the sake of just something that we genuinely love to do. It doesn't really matter what happens with it. Like the universe, like you said, is gonna run with the podcast if it wants to, or however it wants to,
hmm
But I don't know. I feel like the purpose of doing this, aside from just having good conversations and just because we connect and overlap on a lot of stuff, is also being able to give others a window into that, and to have impact, and to potentially have conversations that open the eyes of people that may just need to hear exactly what we are talking about. Much like, you know, I'm eternally grateful to all of the like figures, speakers, authors, influencers, whatever, over time that have like opened my eyes into new, lines of thinking that have contributed to where I'm at right now. And so it's like, if we've soaked up, we've each soaked up our own individual compilation of content over time that has served us. So like, why not, start the blender and serve that up
yeah,
all to someone else? Because who knows, some other people might need to hear it. And speaking of that, I know that a big thing for you is like, um or a big driving force is you do seem to have that natural passion to want to help others and to want to impact. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to hear maybe just a little bit more about, you know, about that, and like maybe like where that comes from, or anything related to, um, you know, what would be kind of sort of an ideal um, situation for you, or I guess channel in which you can continue to
Yeah,
serve,
this is great. I love
to
this.
serve.
I love the question, and
Yeah, my questions are usually like four in one, and then I'm like, here, you figure you figure out the question.
we'll hit number one first. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think that this kind of ties back to what we were talking about earlier. You're like, how did I kind of get into this headspace that I'm at now, and where did these passions come from? And as you talk about, just the gratitude that we have for the people that we've learned from, whether that
Yeah,
be from a book or a podcast or just a conversation, just anybody that we've ever crossed paths with, I think eventually there comes a time where at first you're in learning mode. Really, you're always in learning mode, but at first you're just like a sponge, and you're just like, you need the help so much.
mm-hmm.
Like you got to reinvest in yourself. Your cup is completely empty, and then eventually, your level starts rising up, and you're like, I'm feeling better. I've got my feet underneath me. I'm learning, and then there kind of comes a point where I think you have to sustain that. You can't just like get to a certain level and be like, okay, like I'm like complete, and I'm like, I think like guruism is like a thing that's kind of
Mm,
like phasing out. Like there's
yeah,
been too much like abuse with gurus and things
yeah,
like that. But like I think eventually you just we can't just learn like all the time. Like there comes I think it's almost like this feeling of wanting to give back. Like it's just like a feeling of um, I don't know if empathy is the right word, or just kind of like you see suffering in the world, and there's so many different forms of suffering. We've got like people who suffer with pain, or people who suffer with loneliness or loss, or just they don't know themselves, or like you just kind of feel like a connection, like you have felt that before. And I think that for me, my ultimate goal is I want to be able to take all the experiences that I've had thus far in life and just kind of share them, and in hopes that somebody who's going through them right now um, could either learn from that, or feel like comforted by the fact that you're not alone. I think
mm,
loneliness is like one of the worst feelings, like for me, that I've ever experienced. Like
absolutely,
I've experienced a lot of
yeah,
stress, just being like A type, but like when I'm like feeling lonely, like that's when I'm like really that's just like the hardest one for me. Whether that
big
be
time,
like
dude.
just, and that's different from solitude, right? Like solitude is spending time with yourself and learning to
More
love yourself.
intentional.
It's more intentional. I think solitude is important, but loneliness, feeling like nobody cares about you, or what you're experiencing is unique and unfixable and like terminal, and just like, that's like a very tough thing. And I think ultimately we all experience those feelings at some point in life. And I think that for me, a lot of my drive would be like to help people when they're feeling that, to overcome that.
Mm,
And I think too, there's just a part of it's such a good question. I want to I've talked to Darcy about this. Like I want to help people. I think my ultimate goal is like I would love to become a coach, and right now that form of coaching, I think, is, I would love to keep it broad. I would love to just say like life coach. But from what I hear, you want to create more of your niche, and
mm-hmm.
I think to kind of like attract the right clientele. But I think lately for me, I've been really into like nervous system regulation, and
Mm,
like kind of like a nervous system regulation coach. And I think from there you can go into so many things. You can go into physical health, mental health, meditation, mindfulness. We can talk about nutrition, but really just this whole idea of understanding that we are we are a vessel for consciousness, and this idea of consciousness, everything that we interpret, all the experiences that we have are we're able to interpret those with our own thoughts and our own actions, and those can like lead to stressful and less stressful situations, and ultimately we're in control of that. So I'm learning a lot about that right now.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I want to go, and there's no timeline on that, like you said. I think in the past I've always wanted to be like, I need to accomplish this by this, and life is long, and that's part of the beauty of being into longevity is like there's no we don't there, I don't have a plan like set out in stone, but I'm putting it out there, and I'm gonna just live in accordance to my values, and see what happens. And so far it's been really fun to like let go of this super structured vision of what my life should be,
Mm,
and
wow.
um things just come into alignment, feel better, new relationships form, you just feel I just feel better.
Absolutely, man. And I feel like when you're living in alignment with, your values, and you're feeling when you're feeling progress in certain areas, there's few things that I feel like are more fulfilling than progress. And
Yeah,
especially if you're seeing it in several different areas, it's just like that sort of like opens you up almost. And like you said, opens you up to whatever wherever the journey is going to take you, rather than having such a fixed vision on something. It's not like it's inherently wrong to be focused on a specific goal. Some people have those very specific goals. The Olympians, they want to win a gold medal. Like everyone has their path, right? But just as you see progress in different areas of your life, I feel like it almost becomes a little bit exciting, because like when you think about exactly what your life is right now, and maybe specifically what you love about your life, if you were to ask yourself, did you think that would you have pictured your life being just like this even 6 months ago? You'd probably say no.
mm-hmm.
You'd probably be like, oh, there's kind of like the wave I'm on right now is almost like a little bit different than I thought it would be, or I tapped more into this thing and I sort of let go of this other thing. At least for me, like I hop in and out of different phases so rapidly that, like, kind of to your point, I have no idea where the bus is going. You know what I mean? I'm on the ride still. That's
The
for
bus
sure.
ride.
The bus ride, baby. I have been for a long time, but like it's almost like you can kind of step outside of yourself and appreciate your story, almost like watch your own production a little bit, and be like, man, this is kind of not to become too fixated on, let's say, yourself, but more so to just zoom out and just sort of let go, and sort of appreciate where it's at, and just like to remind yourself how cool it is, um, where you're at right now. And something that I've brought up, that we've talked about before, is just like reminding ourselves that, man, look at where we're at right now. A lot of things that we have right now are what we used to want for ourselves, you know?
So important.
And so, like, just realizing that, yeah, the perfectionist in us will always want to create new problems, and always want to, it's almost like a perfectionist tendency can be to not allow yourself to be content. It's like, all right, I'm here now, but that means that I got to go for this, and this. It's like, you really gonna live your whole life like that? Like, why
Right.
can't you step back and
Never smell the
smell the
roses. Never
roses?
never celebrate.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's pretty. That I love that because I've identified like I've struggled with that for sure. Just accomplish one thing, move on to the next.
Yeah,
Become so task oriented,
yeah,
and I think everybody's different. We know that. Like
yeah.
you and I relate because we're pretty similar with kind of more type A perfectionistic tendencies.
Type A boys.
Type A boys. I know for me that I'm just inherently going to think long term. Like I plan my week each Sunday. I during the week I think about what I got to do tomorrow. Like it's something that's within me. Like I can't turn that off, and I'm grateful for it. It's a instinct from prehistoric times to like sense danger. Like it's something that has evolved over many generations to lead me to right where I am. Just like all of us are like, we're the best production of our family's genes that have ever lived. Like we are,
Wow.
like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
we're the greatest model
Yeah.
that our families have ever produced. And I mean, we're amazing. We're amazing as
Yeah.
we are right now. But my downfall is that I don't live in the moment as much. So that's where when we talk about like, not putting pressure on myself to be like, all right, you need to accomplish this a goal by this date with regards to becoming a coach. It's not that I'm not. It's not that I'm not serious about it. It's just that I know that I'm naturally programmed to plan it out, and that's what I
Yeah.
want to do naturally. Is be
Yeah.
like, all right, by this month I got to do this, and this month I got to do this. But
Yeah.
actually, by living in the moment is kind of shifting my slider to a more
Mm.
balanced version of myself. And I think that that's something that I'm really trying to get more in tune with, because it's something I would struggle with logically thinking, well, if you don't have a goal, if you don't have a deadline, how are you going to achieve it?
Mm.
And it's like, well, that's your strong arm talking, and we need to flex the weak arm right now. It's like you gotta like
Yeah.
balance it out. So I love, you and I have talked about like spontaneity, even with us linking up and spending time together. Like we're both very good at being like, hey, what are you doing 3 weeks from now at 11 a.m.? It's like, oh yeah, let's open on the calendar, and we make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we've been trying to work on, yo, I'm in the neighborhood, I'm gonna pull up, like
Yeah.
we'll just talk for 10 minutes, like
Right.
just things like that. I know that those are things I want to work on. So
Credit
I
to
guess,
you, and you and Nicole stopped by about a month ago, popped up on our spot. That was great, man.
hey, you
That's
know what?
just getting back to
We
that good
we
old
we
fashioned connection. But
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. It's like baby steps of progress, but yeah, man, the idea of just being like present and like just like on a day like today, you're right. There's a million things I want to do on my to-do list, all of varying importance and varying difficulty levels. But just like being here with you and talking right now, and as you're talking, trying to just listen to you, and then when you come to a pause, just picking up where you left off, as opposed to like me having this point stored in my head and being like, I need to get this out. Like
Yeah.
that's a great little way to practice, and it's like I love the idea of practicing like attention lately.
Ooh.
Like like I think that's really what meditation is like
Yeah.
for 10 minutes a day, crack open the waking up app, have Sam take me through a little meditation.
Yeah.
It's really just about attention. Like, can I focus on my breath, or just not thinking about all the bombardment of thoughts in my head for just like 10 minutes? Like that, it's a muscle. And even while I'm working, like just focus at this task at
Singular
hand.
focus.
Singular focus, man. Don't Multitasking is not a thing. It's truly not a thing. If
Nope.
you're a multitasker, I would challenge you to look into that a little bit, because it's like, just like we go to the gym, we don't do leg press while we do bicep curls at the same time. You're focused on one exercise at a time. You
Yep.
focus on it. And I think like the mind is like that too. And I've realized my mind, like most of our minds, is just like it's a tornado.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
uh,
absolutely. And it's I mean, it comes from really just the plethora of options available to us at
yeah.
any different time. You
Yep.
know, the number of avenues in which you could choose to guide or direct your attention is like essentially infinite. So I feel like that's one of the things where it's like, on one hand, it's the easiest it's ever been to be a human being, but on the other hand, it's the hardest it's ever been. Both things can be true.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. I mean, what I'm on right now is the book I'm on, The One Thing by Gary Keller, which I mentioned to you. Man, so good. It's just amazing how like the book you need just kind of like finds its way to you. You know, it's rare that I buy a book these days. Honestly, my bookshelf's full, and so when I got to that point, I'm like, all right, just cut it out. Really utilized the Grandview library a
If you
lot,
ever need to like
a lot
loan me
episodes.
some of your books, I'm
Yeah,
good for holding on to them for a year or two.
yeah, absolutely. Honestly, yeah, I'm gonna have to make it easy for us to move our stuff too, and just hold on to some of my books,
A
Sean.
book share club, we'll hold them for you.
Yeah. But that idea of singular focus, that's one of the things I'm on right now too, man. Like really just one activity at a time. And really like really becoming more honest with myself, man. It is I just so easily can distract myself by doing something that um, is related to my goal or my current activity, and I sort of try to justify and trick myself into thinking that I'm doing the work. But man, getting honest with yourself, like looking at what you're doing or what you're trying to accomplish, and sort of stripping away all of the excess until you are looking at what is the core thing that is going to provide the most value from what I'm doing right now. And so, like with podcasting, for example, I mean, we're doing it. We're sitting here and we're talking, we're recording, we're having an original conversation, and with when I do my music, the thing that I've avoided really this past like several years, is the core of creating new original music. Crafting a song, sitting there and working through the lyrics, putting the lyrics together. There's a million things related to making music that I'll do to kind of like tricks me into feeling like I'm working on my music, but I'm not. It's
Mm.
like you're avoiding the hard thing. It's like resisting the hard thing. So learning to just put that singular focus onto one thing, and then when you really get done with a little session of working on that, that core activity, man. Again, I kind of was saying it before, but it really is just life changing, and just yeah, just focusing on one thing at a time, man. And like you said, not thinking about what to talk about next, like all the time, like just being in the moment and just riding with it, man.
Yeah, I think we all do that with like people we're really close with. Like I'm sure with you and Amanda, you spend so much time together that you don't always feel this like pressure or urge to like keep things moving. Like,
Mm,
when you're conversating with somebody and it's just like you're afraid if there's like a silence or something like that. Like that's just not that there's a feeling within the body almost like,
yeah,
oh God, this is like hard.
gotta
Like
break it.
they gotta keep it going. But it's like when you're with your loved ones, you're just kinda like we're just chilling and you can just kind of go out you can think other thoughts without feeling like uncomfortable and it's like
Yeah,
that's like my goal to get there with like anybody,
yeah,
but I'm nowhere near that. I'm always like trying to keep it rolling a little bit. Like I feel like with
heck yeah,
us we just kind of keep it rolling. Like I feel comfortable to do that, but there's kind of this like maybe with like a somebody I'm not as familiar with, or we haven't spent a lot of time together. It's like there's this like feeling of uncomfortability if you just
yeah,
don't keep talking, and then it's like when you separate from them, you're almost like, oh, I find like I can breathe a little bit.
yeah,
But I guess part of that is like the challenge of going outside of your comfort zone a little bit,
yeah,
and
for sure.
just part of relating to human beings.
Honestly, truly, man. How about this venue today? You guys like this? You guys like this venue? We've got Grandview Heights High School behind us. You can almost see Sean's spot in the frame.
Yeah,
You've got the track as your like your daily view out front
yep,
of your out front of your crib. There was some like soccer practice going on earlier. They're gone now. Looks like I
yeah. Soccer practice is
haven't been
over.
back in a while, but
Yeah, man, it's cool. It's cool living out in front of the field. There's always like something going on. It's a good reminder to just stay active.
shout out Bassett. You need covering all of your local HVAC needs, heating and cooling, plumbing, electrical, generators. Um,
Solid marketing for
Little
Bassett
QR
there.
code. I wonder if you could screenshot and maybe that QR code will hit link straight to their site. But man, I wonder how long this scoreboard is here. Is this so? We're deep into the outfield of a baseball diamond over here, to which there is a shorter home run fence that
Yeah,
separates
yeah.
us and the actual field. But looks like this belongs to the baseball field. How long do you think this school has been around? Like the
This like
50s?
field.
I mean, or just
Oh, the
this.
Grandview School.
Yeah, this school.
That school. I think there's a. it's like engraved on the side of the building. I want to say it's like 20 something.
Century,
Nicole and I went to a
century mark.
play there. We saw The Wizard of Oz with her mom over the winter, and we were just excited to go in the school just because like we live right next to the school. We've never been in there,
Yeah,
and it's a really cool school, by the way.
I
Just
don't
the
know
way
if I've been in there.
it's cool, man. The way they lay out schools now is like totally different from
Yeah,
when we were kids. Like just the bathroom layouts are like different, and there's just like so many more safety precautions with like just
yeah,
the way society is now, unfortunately. But
yeah.
anyways, there's like class pictures going back in time, and they went all the way back to the 20s.
Yo,
And
there was pictures back then. That's wild.
there's pictures, yeah, bro, crazy, man. What's funny though is like looking at styles, especially like hairstyles of
Yeah,
men.
yeah,
They all come back, bro. Like kind of like my hairstyle now with like being like a little bit longer. It's like
yeah,
that was like a style back in the day. They would keep it a
yeah,
little shorter on the sides, but
yeah.
it's just like a good reminder that things come in cycles,
They
and
always circle back around.
always circle back. But yeah, man, Grandview's such a awesome community.
Honestly, man,
Love living here. We're gonna miss you and Amanda moving out, making big moves to Plain City.
making moves, man,
Plain City's lucky to have you,
out to
and
the sticks.
up and coming neighborhood, man.
Honestly, we're excited. Yeah, today to timestamp it is May 17th, 2025, and we'll be moving about a month from now. So yeah, we just bought our first house out there, and we're excited, man. We're it's gonna be bittersweet to leave old Grandview, but yeah, looking forward, man. It's I would say probably the biggest change, the biggest upcoming change that really I can remember in quite some time. Just to like, it hasn't really hit me yet that we're just going to be living in like a whole new town, a
Yeah,
village, man. Plain City is
it's
classified
considered a
as
village.
it's a village, man. We're moving out to the village,
Moving to a village.
so man, super excited for it, man. I feel like um, I see it as like a fresh start in a way too. I feel like that's such an important um, thing to be able to create in your life sometimes, to stay adaptable and to give yourself different types of fresh starts. I'm excited to just be in a new community, almost to just like what are some of the habits that I can even break, and what are the new ones that I can replace, being in a new environment. I'd like to just walk uptown, and talk to people, and network and stuff like that. Like that's something that you get set in your ways. I haven't done that a whole lot lately around here in Grandview. It's like we've got a kind of our lifestyle on cruise control, but to just be able to use the change in environment to you know develop or cultivate whatever shifts in lifestyle that we're looking for. But man, super excited, man. Gotta have you guys over
Oh,
there.
I'm stoked,
Have you over
man.
to the crib. We got nice little deck out back, a nice little view of nothing behind us. We got
That's nice,
we got
man.
a
Yeah, your backyard is kind of like you have your backyard, and then is it like farm field kind of?
yeah.
That's so
It's
cool, man.
cornfield.
That's gonna be so
So it's gonna
relaxing.
be absolutely.
Privacy.
I'm looking forward to the balance of city and country. I think
Yeah.
it's always been attractive to us having some sense of on one day like living out in the country. And then
Mm-hmm.
although we're not going full country with it, it is still it's still a development. It's a neighborhood per
Yeah.
se, but I mean really Plain City is out there a bit, and
Yeah.
it is surrounded. It
Do you
is
have any
by
desire to
country.
kind of like maybe start a garden or anything like that? Is there any?
Wifey does, that's for
Wifey does?
sure.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe I'll get the
Nice.
green thumb a little bit
I've
too
I've
from
started
her.
to have the urge, man.
Yeah,
Kind of this desire to like you said, I love the balance of like
self-sustaining.
yeah, self-sustaining a little bit, like this
Yeah,
idea of like having chickens and you know, having fresh eggs and then like fresh tomatoes and cucumbers and just like herbs and things like that. Just a little something to just feel connected not only to the earth but yeah, just like more self-sustaining. I think that it's so funny. You would ask me that 5 years ago, I'd be like, I have no desire. And shoot, I still haven't done anything. I haven't acted on it, but they're
yeah,
starting to become this itch, just as as we talked about earlier, our podcast used to be centered around having a couple adult beverages, and
Yeah, yeah.
we've changed the adult beverage from,
Shout out Stoffs.
maybe it was back then like a White Claw, and now it's a Stoff's
The
coffee
brown
here.
claw.
But yeah, I've just noticed that as we're in our mid 30s now. It's just so funny. Even every time I talk to like, I ran into somebody at the grocery store yesterday I hadn't seen in a while, and it's like, oh yeah, like let's get a coffee sometime. And it's like, when did it shift from like
Yeah,
let's get a coffee from like, hey, yeah, let's go grab a drink, and I'm eternally grateful for that. But it is kind of just funny to see it goes from one drug to another drug.
yeah.
And there's like when we're 70, will it just be like, hey, come on over and like we'll do a crossword
Yeah,
puzzle?
yeah, exactly. Come on over for a lemon water
Yeah, come on over for a lemon water.
and a crossword.
Come on over and we'll sit in our sitz baths together. And but nah, man, it's just cool to see the change. Like you said, moving to Plain City is going to be a change, and I think that's cool that this is like a decided change, like a almost like a premeditated change. Sometimes
Yeah,
life comes at you and it's like, you're gonna change.
yeah,
That was me in 2020. There was things that I just outside of my control, where life was just like, we're gonna mix things up for you because you weren't gonna mix them up. I'm gonna do it for you. Whereas
mm,
then it's nice to be in control of your own change, and it's
yeah,
like that's kind of where you guys are. And but it's still challenging, and it's still gonna have its own
right.
growing pains. But man, the benefits to come out of that, I just can't wait to come check out Plain City, meet your neighbors, and
Yeah,
check
man.
out your new coffee shop, and
Yeah,
shoot a podcast out in your backyard, and just
absolutely,
yeah,
man. Stock talks.
yeah, stock talks.
You
We
heard
went from Stoff
you,
talks to stock talks.
you heard it here first, man.
Yeah, that's
Honestly.
exciting, man. So
Rock the Clock, little country concert in downtown Plain City,
no way,
July 26th.
rock the
If you
clock.
guys are in town, it's like a country concert. They shut down the streets. We already have
Ooh,
our tickets for it. Amanda's so pumped about it.
nice.
And man, just a little afternoon Saturday.
For
I
sure,
feel like
bro.
it'll
You
be
said it's like
dope.
late July.
Yeah, July 26th.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah,
We'll come out to Plain City, and
yeah,
then
got
we'll
to.
have to have you guys back for a Grandview hop for sure. I'm
Oh
sure
yeah, that's right.
the Grandview hops.
That's right.
Once you get out there and get settled,
When
and
is
if you
that
miss it a
first?
little bit, you come back for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, and I feel like coming back to Grandview will be that much more sweet. It'll be
That'll
like,
be a
all right,
vibe.
you know.
Yeah,
But that's right. The Grandview
yeah.
hops will probably start like next month.
I think yeah, the first one's like June. We'll be out of town. We're
On the
doing
first one.
our Portugal trip, but then
Yeah,
we'll be
yeah,
back. July might be at Stock Talks.
yeah.
Or
That's true.
that,
That's true.
what is it called?
Well,
Stock Rock the Clock.
rock the
Rock the
clock.
Clock.
Stock
Yeah,
talks that'll be our,
that's our thing.
that'll be one of our podcast editions from my spot. But yeah, honestly, I think there are different times. We could hit you could hit rock the clock for the daytime, and you could bounce back
Ooh, that'd be a
for
vibe.
Grandview hop if it's the same day. It could be the same day. But
Could be, yeah, probably Saturday.
yeah, man, just real excited for the change. And yeah, like you said, like um it's easy to look forward to this, to all of just the positives,
Mm-hmm.
of what's upcoming, and to not be as mindful as to what challenges that could create. But I feel like when it comes to like problems and challenges in general, one thing that I am trying to start doing, um, is like when you've got a problem in front of you or a challenge, I feel like more often than not, you can trace that problem to a positive circumstance, or let's say a positive pursuit. Like a lot of our problems are related to things that are inherently positive in our life. Like if you think about, I don't know, you got a problem at work. Well, it's all right, but this is tied to a thing that allows me to make a living and allows me,
Right.
comfort, or something that, there's going to be there's problems from that'll arise from our move, I'm sure, but that'll just be related to us living in our first home, and us moving to, a cool new place that, just might be somewhere we stay a while, who knows, and just thinking about how like your problems are almost always tied to something positive,
Yeah, yeah.
but
I love that. Love that reframe.
Yeah.
Love a good reframe. Even
Yeah, man.
even the word problem. Like maybe we could reframe that to like opportunity or just like
Ooh, that's
growing
interesting.
pain or there's many other
Yeah.
words, but it's like yeah, it's like especially with what you said earlier. It's the easiest we've ever. Life is the easiest it's ever been, but it's also the hardest, and a lot of that's
Yeah.
a matter of perspective, right? It's
Yeah.
like we are. It's so much easier to live here right now than it probably was thousands of years ago, where we're just like
Yeah.
struggling to survive. But at the same time, it's a matter of perspective. Maybe then we say, "Oh, life was simple. We just catch some squirrels for dinner and go into your little hut and you're good." But
Yeah, man.
at the same time, nowadays it's hard to just focus, man. But love that reframe,
Yeah,
all
man.
about it. So I feel like you've
Awesome.
asked me some really good questions. I feel this desire to ask you a question, and
All
I've
right.
been kind
All
of
right.
like mulling them over
Yeah.
on the back burner as we've been talking here, and
Yeah, I've given you the spotlight
kind of
today.
as
So,
we wrap up. I'm trying to
yeah.
think of like some of my favorite podcasts always like end with like a question, like
Yeah.
they'll like ask like the guest or like the host like said like, just like one question that
Yeah.
they kind of like consistently ask. I think it's kind of a cool idea, but
Like it.
what's something different? We talk a lot about improvement and kind of like get into like the biohacking or the mental health hacks or solving problems, but I think like I'm gonna go here. Like, what is something that you are proud of yourself for? Like, what's something you're like, as you and I, as perfectionists, as people maybe don't stop and smell the roses. Like, well, I want like, what are you proud of? Like, regarding yourself as like a human being.
Wow, man.
There's a lot to be proud
Yeah.
of, by the way. But like, I
Yeah.
think it's a good way for us to reflect and practice.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, that's a great question. You know, I got to start with a pretty general answer. It may develop itself a little bit, but um, just I guess proud of myself in that at a certain point I just started to take myself more seriously enough to um, become interested in being the best version of myself. I'm proud of my this whole personal growth journey that I've embarked on.
Absolutely.
There was, in the past, it wasn't really a concept to, you know, try to be the best version of myself. It was more so just like to your point earlier, what's the next dopamine hit?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the next party? Like all that, and then just realizing that there was so much potential in life. That I decided to just steer down the path of like, you know, how much how much more could I really enjoy life? What could life become? And I would also say that like I'm proud of the fact that I still I'm proud of the fact that I'm pursuing my gifts. I feel like in my passions, um, and the fact that I've let go of specific results and outcomes that I previously had set forth. Whether it be related to music. Um, when you first start, it's like I want to be the biggest artist ever, and now it's
Yeah.
it's shifted to just like you know, as long as I am creating, what's been naturally, um, what I've been naturally like wired with, as long as I am just showing up and sort of giving back what I've been gifted
Mm-hmm.
by just creating art, sharing art, you know, using a platform like this to be able to just hopefully spread good. Um, I would just say, yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty general and cliche, but as much as I beat myself up for things that I feel like I'm not proud of, I think when I zoom out and look at it, I mean, I just truly am proud, I guess, of the man I've become. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
bro.
so,
Well said,
it,
man. Like I said, a lot to be
it's
proud of. Yeah,
yeah,
I love what you said there. I mean, just the journey to like
yeah,
invest in yourself, to love yourself, to like see your potential, and
yeah,
to be adaptable.
yeah,
You know, to be water. You know, to kind of like not confine yourself or over pressure yourself. Like I
yeah.
think that's like such a key to longevity is like, um, you know, water has a direction that it's gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
There's direction, but it might hit some things that change its direction, but it's still gonna go.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's like major key is like we don't just like stop and give up.
Right.
We just kind of change course, and
Redirect.
that's the right path. You know,
Yeah, dude.
yeah, that's good stuff,
Absolutely. I might have to turn that one back your way.
man. Yeah, that's okay. I was thinking you might do that.
Well,
Um,
since you're basically the guest here, there is a lot there that basically you have already answered. So
yeah,
maybe it's something that I can reframe a little bit because you have spent a lot of this episode answering my questions that are for you
yeah,
to talk about and tell your story. So I guess I'll say, um, to mix it up, where do you hope? What do you hope to be true 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Um, Generally speaking, as far as like, you know, who do you hope to be, or what do you hope to be true about yourself or your life? To kind of leave that somewhat open
yeah,
for you.
yeah. That's a good one. I hope to be different than I am right now.
Ooh,
You
I
know,
like that.
I
I
hope
like that.
when I look at from 2020 to 2025, I'm very different. So my
100%.
hope would be that I'm not the same. I don't know what I'll be like, but I hope that growth in whatever form and ways continues. I hope that I'm continue to like build a network of people that love me and support me and we share the same values. I think that was going to be my answer to what I'm proud about is really like
Mm,
this network that's kind of formed.
yes,
And honestly, you and Amanda were like OGs, man. Like
absolutely.
kind of in this like life rebuild
Yeah, man.
that I underwent and like you guys are like just my pillars of just like friendship and
Wow.
like support and I'm just like super grateful for that. Hope you guys always know that.
Heck yeah, man.
Um
Feelings mutual.
yeah, that's so I would like to continue that is like I don't I love Drake. I know we like Drake, but the whole no new friends
Crazy.
thing, I think I'm not really on that wave. Like I think I'm not out here trying to have superficial like meaningless friendships, but I
Yeah.
do like the idea of just like continuing to meet people, learn from them and teach them things. I
Right.
love the idea of like the stair step. Uh a concept that Darcy taught me is like we're right where we are right now. There's somebody on that's on a step just above us that can help teach us something,
Mm-hmm.
and there's someone on a step right below us that we can teach them something. It
Mm.
doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah.
Anybody anywhere can always like learn and
Yep.
teach at the same time. So
Yeah.
just want to like keep doing that like that balance of like learning and hopefully providing value,
Yeah, man.
but and then just keep moving forward like water, So yeah, future me, I wanna I wanna have a family, I think that's like the ultimate goal is like to to keep the bloodline
Mm-hmm.
going,
Mm-hmm.
create the next best model.
There we go. Yeah.
pass the genes along. I don't have a super burning desire to start that right now, but I think that is like a more generic long term goal. I know Nicole and I both want that, and I think one other thing, since this has become a therapy session,
Yeah.
is to do things because we want to, not because it's the it's what everybody else is doing, or it's because it's like it makes sense on paper.
Mm,
Like I think like do making life decisions in accordance with with our own timeline. I say that more with like Nicole and me, but that applies to myself as well. Just like not not doing things just because I feel external pressure to do them, but
mm-hmm.
more do them because it aligns with like what I want to do. And I don't mean that to sound selfish. I think that just kind of comes from a recovering perfectionist, people pleaser, always kind of doing things because it's like I should do that. Like it's something I really kind of unraveling as
Yeah.
I age and mature more. Have fun, play more,
Ooh, that's big.
go back to being a kid.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
trying to learn what play means again.
Mm,
That for me that was always sports. I don't have like a burning desire to play sports for some reason.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't. Pickleball is like a huge trend. I'm not like. I would love to like like we said play pickleball like me, you, Amanda,
Yeah.
and Nicole, but like I don't have like this desire to like join a league, but
Yeah.
maybe learning like what is kind of dissecting the word play and kind of like understanding what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Lately, it's been more social interaction. That's like really fueled my cup. Just like spending time with
Absolutely.
you, grabbing a coffee, spending time with Ben and Jess, or just kind of like keeping revolving things, going to see movies with my guy Ryan, and like spending time with Nicole, spending time with family, like trying to like understand that I'm an introvert and I do recharge the most efficiently with like solitude, but
Mm-hmm.
I need this conversation will energize me. Conversations with the right people, time with the right people will energize me. Kind of
Heck
like
yeah.
learning the most efficient way to like kind of just become the best version of myself, recharge the best way that I can. So yeah, cool question. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. And ditto on the relationships piece and just kind of like the networking and that's what I'd add to my own about like I'd like to be someone who has a wide ranging network of super cool people that I can just make phone calls to at any time, and
Yeah,
really working on opening myself up more and bringing the walls down to allow relationships to develop. We don't need to be a perfect version of ourselves before we can introduce ourselves to certain pockets of the world. Like just come as you are and just watch what happens. It's like people will be most attracted to the most authentic version of you. So as long as we're out there mixing it up and being ourselves and staying open to opportunities to connect and things like that, it's like um I mean, what more valuable of a thing to be able to have, throughout life, aside from like a family, but also just like a network of really good relationships.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like that's something that is irreplaceable. So yeah, like you said, man, it's been probably a good time, a good stopping point. It's gotten sneaky chilly out here, windy. You know what I
I'm like
mean?
low key shivering
I
over
don't
here.
know. It's been, yeah. It started out as a nice sunny moment, but you know what? We've really rode the wave nicely today. Man, Sean Sean Oatman at Sean Oatman on IG. Do I have that right?
Yep, at Sean
It,
Oatman.
if you want to get your daily dopamine hit of seeing some really tasty looking food, some awesome little movement exercises, and just more general nuggets of wisdom. And I feel like you do an excellent job also of kind of like resharing some other things that you find that you
Yeah,
feel like you want
thanks,
you want
man.
your people to see. So from a social media standpoint, follow the guy on IG. I'd say you won't regret that. In any areas that we talked about, Sean, feel like always has some good to add. uh, to those conversations and in those arenas. And yeah, man. I mean, we've had a million of these conversations, but every single time it always hits. And so, I
It
mean,
does, man. It's a pleasure.
yeah,
Thanks for having me on the pod, brother, and love what you're
absolutely.
doing with the pod. Keep
Hey,
doing
man.
it.
Yeah.
I like it all. I like it when it's just you. I like it when it's interviews. I mean, you're bringing good value
Hey,
to all the listeners, and just keep doing you, man.
appreciate it, man. You as well. I mean, we're each one of one. We've got our own unique life experience, and whatever we can, sort of recycle and reproduce of that for other people to draw from. I feel like that, be a crime not to. So I will cross promote and say, check out the What's Current podcast. Our
Yeah,
episodes that are up there are from kind of a few years ago at this point, but I'd say they really are timeless conversations. I almost
they
want
are.
to go back and just listen and just run through, and I feel like we'll see a surprising level of growth. But if you look up What's Current with Luns and Sean, you can hear, I think it's 10 or 11. It's 11 different conversations. It'll be 12 now. I'm just gonna upload this on there as well. I
Yeah, I
mean,
like
it's
that.
the OG What's Current, so it's gonna go up in both places.
Word.
But check that out if you want to hear more from us. And other than that, we'll catch you guys next time. Keep it real, and
Peace.
we'll dap it up. Doesn't have to be the perfect dap, right? Adapt's a dap. Oh, but it
That's
is.
what it
It is
was.
one on
Let's
one,
go.
baby. So, all right, peace.
Nice, brother. That was awesome.
Yeah, man.
So
Always,
much fun.
always.
Cleared out the whole track. They're doing a podcast up there.
There it is.
We gotta get out of here.
Bloopers,
Bloopers, baby.
outtakes, baby. Oh, look at that. Look at that. My guy says he isn't into sports. Look at this athlete. Come on now. Grandview High School. Go over here and check out the other scoreboard.
Yeah, isn't it kind of
The real
beautiful? Just like the
scoreboard.
symmetry of the high school.
Yeah, man. Honestly, it's a vibe over here. Fairview.
Yep. Good old Fairview. Got the crib over there.
There's our set over here. There's where you just saw the conversation. There's a baseball diamond. Grandview, everybody. We out.
Peace.
Peace.